Welcome to the Bracket Factory and welcome to this latest video, which is, as promised, all about the Yamaha YZR500 Replica. So I've got it in the workshop at the moment and I'm doing a few bits and bobs to it. So while I'm at it, I'll show you what I'm doing and I'll give you a bit of a guided tour around the rest of the bike as well. So sit back and enjoy. So this is the bike. It's a YZR500 Replica. It's not the real thing. The real things are about 100,000. Mind you, these aren't that cheap. But what it is a replica using, basically at the heart of it is an RD500 engine. In this case, it's a rather highly tuned RD500 engine, tuned by a guy called Stan Stevens. And if you know anything about two-strokes, you'll know about Stan Stevens. The frame is a TZR250 and it's been modified and it's had a cradle fitted to it. Which the engine sits in. Front end is R6, so the shocks and the brakes R6. All this front assembly is all completely custom fabricated. This is the power valve servo, which this is where it actually sits on a YZR500. It doesn't on an RD500. It's completely somewhere completely different. But we'll get into that as we go through this. Back end. This rear swing arm, sort of banana style swing arm, it's got a cutout, that's sort of off a TZR250. The bodywork is, this rear hugger is YZR500, custom exhaust pipes, custom rear sets, YZR500 seat. Tank is actually a Honda tank that's been modified. I think suffice to say, everything is highly modified. Nothing just, you can't buy anything and bolt it on. The rad is off an R6. So anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to fit some new carbs onto this. It's running the existing RD500 carbs, which don't really work with this engine, so we're going to stick some fancy racing carbs on there, which means doing quite a lot of fiddling. We've got to sort out the throttle cable, the choke cable, and the fuel pipe run. So as I go through, I'm going to be taking bits off and you'll get a closer look under the skin. Some of its clothes now removed and you can see what's going on. So these are the rear cylinders and the top expansion chambers, or the rear expansion chambers. Up here you've got the two-stroke oil tank. Now these specials don't normally have a two-stroke oil pump, but there it is. Down there, it's in its normal place, although there's had to be some modification the way that the cable pull runs. And you can see the carbs. Now these are the original carbs, standard RD500. Cost a fortune, these, because they're quite rare and they're quite delicate. These are the ones that we're sticking on. These are the K-hin carbs, which are for racing use only, in quotes. They're actually a push straight into the rubbers, which is quite good. So all we really need to do now is sort out chokes. It's a 4-into-1 choke lever, which should be quite straightforward. We've got to plumb in the fuel. The throttle pull is going to be more complicated because you're pulling 4 carbs in parallel, but the way that an RD500 works is that you're also, when you turn the throttle, if I turn the throttle now, you can see it pulls on the two-stroke oil pump as well. So it's actually a 1-into-5 pull. So I need to devise a way of pulling 5 cables from one. So that's the next step. So I've decided to use this 5-into-1 pull, which is actually from an RG500, because of course an RG has 4 separate carbs. The reason it's got 5 is that the 5th one pulls the oil pump. Now, there's a difference between the RG and the RD in that the RG's oil pump is just operated by the throttle, whereas the RD is operated by the power valve servo, of course. We've got this cable that comes out here from the power valve servo, which is this one. So in theory, all I need to do is swap over this cable. That's in theory, but of course nothing will fit. So I'm going to do that and see if that works. See if I've got to adjust it. Probably will have to, and then we see if these are actually long enough to actually get to the carbs. So let's have a quick play on that. I've now fitted the cable, and the operation of the oil pump via the power valve works well, so that's okay. So now turning my attention to this carb. So I fitted the cable, and obviously looks like it's working fine, doesn't it? But unfortunately the slide isn't going all the way down to the bottom. That's what it should look like. This is the back of the carb, not the front. And I've got no more adjustment just left just there, so I can't make the inner longer short of replacing it. So the only thing I can do is make the outer shorter. So I need to find maybe 3mm there, and then I use half the range of that, maybe another 4mm, 5mm, so maybe 8mm. So I need to reduce the outer by 8mm so I can get a full range with a little bit of adjustment there. So do that next. Outer shortened, it was actually 6mm in the end, and now I can hear it hitting the bottom and I'm getting full throw. So that is perfect. That's all I need to do. So I measured it. It was now I've got the measurement of the end of the outer to the end of the cable. I can make sure they're all the same. And as it happens with this, the set I got, they're actually all a little bit different. So I can make them all the same now. So if I do that, then I can put all the other carbs on. Cable's now done, but before I put all the carbs on, I just thought I'd show you what's going on in here. So as you can see, it's all quite tight. Top of the stat comes out here, and this pipe comes to the top of the rad. And you'll notice that I've got the reed valves off, and that's because on this bike the two-stroke oil had basically gone past the check valves and drained over a few months, drained into the bores. Now you can either turn the bike upside down or you can siphon it out, and this is what has been siphoned out, quite a lot. Far too much to start it with, and you can see there's a bit two-stroke oil there. You on the lower ones you can pass a stiff 4mm tube down through the reed valves and siphon it out. But on the top ones, because it's going down into the case, on the top ones it has to go through the either through the port in the side of the piston or avoid that. So it's actually much easier if you take the cage off, and you can have a look down there with a torch and you can kind of feed it down between everything into the bottom. So I've been doing that. So I'm going to put all that back on now and then stick all the carbs on. Oh, one more thing before I do, worth showing you. Notice on here it's got this stubby little racing plug. The reason it's got that stubby little racing plug is because if you have a normal full-size plug like this, when it's got the cap on, it's running perilously close to the wheel. Under bounce situation, at a certain angle, it will actually clip the cap, hence running these stubby plugs and stubby caps like that. Anyway, let's stick the carbs on. So the carbs are on now, and quick test, I'm getting the full range of movement. They touch at the bottom and I'm getting all the way to the very top, so that's quite good. And also on this bike we've got a choke, in fact choke leading to all four carbs. It's using the original RD500 pull, but on a special bracket. If I just push that down, obviously I can put the choke on all four carbs. It's obviously different cables, and you have special pull adapters for the chokes, which have to be swapped out. So anyway, that's all done. So next step is I need to whack the pipes back on, stick the rad back on, stick the tank back on, a few fluids, and I think we'll try and fire her up. So the tank's on, the rad's on, the pipes are on, fuel in it. So I think what we'll do now is we'll give it a quick kick over, see if it runs, and if it does, we'll take her outside. fresh air, having another quick look at the bike. So all this, as mentioned before, this whole front end assembly is pretty much identical to a 92 YZR500, actually a rock. So the power valve is mounted on the front, and as per the original, the direction of the pull is flipped. So you've got this fabricated bracket on the back here and adjusters. It means mucking around with this pulley here, and turning it back to front, etc. But it all came good. Now this is it's a road legal bike, so it does have a speedo, albeit a GPS speedo. What else? It's also got, tucked away down here, a horn, as you might expect. Where's the horn button? Just there. Ooh, battery's a bit flat. What else? Let's go around the other side. So, as you can see, carbs are on. It's an R6 rad. Coils are now relocated to the side of the chassis, side of the frame. It's 3XV TZR 250 3XV swing arm, and the rear hugger is it's the correct dimpled sort. You can buy these, but you have to do some fairly radical surgery to make everything line up. And as you can see, it runs pretty close to the tyre. This has got carbon wheels, or you can fit them with R1 wheels, fitting quite nicely after a bit of machining. Around this side, these are the magnesium covers. This one has been had all of the guts machined out of it, so you've got these holes in there now just to make it a bit lighter and a bit more racy looking. This is of course your choke pull, relocated to the side of the bike. Obviously a steering damper just here. Around the back, as mentioned, I don't know whether I can do this. It's a road bike, so of course we have brake lights in there. Can we see those? There we go. Difficult to see, it's too bright. Yeah, so let's start her up, shall we? So I hope you like that. At the end of it, I think I blipped it to about 4K. Bear in mind, it will spin to 10K. Well, red line's at 11K. It will make a hell of a racket. It's going to go on the dyno session fairly soon, so hopefully we'll get some footage of that uploaded. If you're into these sort of bikes, I actually have another one of these. Different. There are different ways of skinning a cat, and there's a few differences on the other bike, which I might share. So anyway, if you like that, hit like. If you've got any questions or comments about building these bikes, please go ahead. If you want to find out about any more videos coming up, hit subscribe, and for now, thanks for watching.